I'm Laura. Welcome to my channel. I will be telling you guys kind of the story of how I became to be a teen mom, I guess. I mean, I know a lot of my close friends already know this, but I figured that's how I'd start vlogging, is kind of letting you know what my life is like. I met my boyfriend, Andrew, when it was my junior year, his senior year of high school. We started dating in September, and we didn't really make it official until November, but that doesn't really matter. I got pregnant in March, and 9 months from March being December, so we were expecting Nolan on December 31st, so New Year's Eve, which is also Andrew's brother's birthday, so luckily he wasn't actually born on that day, but we were very surprised by it. We had no idea. I had gone to Puerto Rico with a friend on vacation and not even realized that I had gone like a month and a half without my period. So yeah, that's where it kind of started. He went to Chicago, University of Loyola in Chicago, and for that fall semester, and he came back like literally 3 days before I gave birth. So it was very difficult, but as a lot of my friends know that'll be watching this, they're basically the ones that got me through it. I had him on December 21st, so I was 10 days early. I had taken castor oil because Andrew's so big, he's like 6'3", and he was born at 10 pounds, so they were like, your body can't sustain something that big or you're gonna like need a C-section. So they were like, once you're 37 weeks, go ahead and try to kind of get birth moving. So I tried everything. I tried pumping. I tried everything in the books to try to do it, and then finally it was like, all right, I'll do castor oil. And I've heard some iffy stories about it, but I've also heard some really great stories about it. And so I just went for it, and 2 hours after I took it, I was in labor. I took it at like 10 p.m. and my water broke around midnight, and I actually had no idea that it broke until I went to the doctors the next day and they told me when it broke. But I labored at home from 12 a.m. to 7 a.m. My tea's about to boil, so I gotta go in here. So I labored at home for 7 hours, and then we went to the hospital at 7 a.m. because I noticed I was having contractions, and they were actually a lot stronger than I had actually been feeling, because we went to the doctor and they were like, you should have been here hours ago because you're like 2 minutes apart now. And so luckily we got there at the right time. We were only like 10 minutes from the hospital. We were at Andrew's parents' house in Chesterfield, so it wasn't horrible, but it was definitely something I wouldn't risk again. And then, sorry, I'm trying to make my tea because I sound like a man. And then they do this test to see if your water broke, and she was like, yeah, it's been broken for a while, and they tested like the amniotic fluid that I'd lost, and it was equivalent to having, it had been broken since 12 p.m. or 12 a.m. So, they went ahead and gave me some kind of inducing meds because I just wasn't dilating like they wanted me to. So they gave me some induction meds, Pitocin, I think, but it didn't really speed things up all that much. I mean, it did. It didn't take me very long to really go into labor. I guess women take days, and I only took like a day. But it was definitely, it took longer than I wanted it to. So yeah, I labored without any pain medication from the 12 a.m. when my water broke until 6 p.m. that night. And then I have pretty bad scoliosis in my back, so I had very bad back labor, and if any of you knew what I looked like when I was pregnant, he grew into my back. I had nothing out here. Like, I did, but it wasn't like, I wasn't huge, and he was a pretty big baby. He was really long. He was only 7 pounds. He was pretty skinny, but he was very long. So he grew straight into my back. So I was having back labor really bad. So they had said to me, we're going to give you some fentanyl, which knocked me right out. And then we're going to get the epidural guy up here, and you're going to get an epidural if that's okay with you. I think that'll help with the back labor. Because I had tried everything. I had tried, like, the heating pads. I had tried getting in the hot tub. The hot tub worked, and they don't let you labor in the hot tub anymore at Cheshire. The hot tub worked for, like, I don't know, 20 minutes, and then I was like, I gotta get out, I'm overheating. So I got out, and it was the worst pain I've ever felt in my life, because the hot tub was masking all of my pain. So I got out, and then that was when the doctor was like, we should give you some medication if you're okay with it. And I was like crying my eyes out because it was awful pain. And I was like, if this is healthy for the baby, then yeah, I'll go for it. So because I'm so young and I was really not a high-risk pregnancy, they were like, you should be fine. And I realized I'm probably going to get some criticisms for that, but that is how I did my laboring, and I'm okay with that. I ended up pushing at around 7:30. I think I started pushing. Maybe, no, it was 7. I started pushing at 7. And then I went from like 3 centimeters to 7 to 10 in like an hour. It's really weird how that works. And then I pushed for about an hour and 10 minutes. I ended up on my hands and knees, and that's what was easiest for me. So for all the people that say that you can't feel anything with an epidural, I was able to kneel on my knees with an epidural, so you can. And I pushed him out that way, and he came out at 8:11 p.m. He was 7 pounds, 21.5 inches, I think. He was pretty long. And he was completely healthy, no complications whatsoever. I ended up needing a ton of stitches, which is kind of gross. That's not something I want to talk about. But, yeah, so it was a good labor. I mean, I have friends that had so many complications, and I never had those. And especially my mom, hearing her horror stories about my youngest brother. As much as being a teen parent sucks sometimes, I have to miss out on a ton of things. I'm glad I had him young, because my body was made for it right now. My body was able to do it so well, and I'm sorry, I'm like sick. And like it came naturally, and I am just so glad that I'm young and I can really, really enjoy running around with him, and I have the energy to do all this stuff. And I get that, like, I'm in college full time. I have a full class load, and I take summer classes. And then I work every morning from 7:30 to 9, so just getting back from work, and then I shower. Normally my dad is here with Nolan, but this morning, since I'm sick, my boss didn't want me going into school, because I work at a preschool, so I stayed home, and Nolan slept in until 10 a.m., so wish I could do that more often. But and then I showered, and this is kind of our routine. He's on the couch watching Beat Bugs, and if I touch him in the next 20 minutes, he'll scream. So he needs his little time, and then I make tea, and I have my little time. And Andrew is at class right now. He's 9 to 11:30 class, which kind of sucks, but it's not me, so. So, yeah, that's kind of my birth story. We stayed in the hospital for 2 days after, because they wanted to monitor me. I was, strep B positive, which is kind of like a bacteria that when you give birth, gets passed on to the baby, it could be really bad for them. So I had to get antibiotics the second I got into the hospital when they tested me for it, and I was positive. It's different for every baby. It's not like, oh, this woman has it and this woman doesn't. It's like, with this pregnancy I had it, and with this pregnancy I don't. So it can differ. My mom had it with 2 pregnancies and not with 1 or something. So yeah, and it was an easy labor. I mean, as much as it hurt me and as much as it was painful, I would do it all over again. I mean, he's amazing. And I guess being my first video, I'll have you meet him. Nolan, can you say hi? This is Nolan. Are you being shy? Can I have this? Okay. So he told you if you touch him in the first 20 minutes, he's not a happy camper. So that's my first video. I'll be asking questions about what you guys want for my second video. But I figured I'd just do my birth story. If I left anything out, just leave it in the comments or message me if you wanted to hear anything else. I'll probably be doing a video on like breastfeeding because that's kind of the next step in where I was when I first had him. So yeah, thanks guys.